Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're doing something pretty cool. We're taking Android's super technical history and translating it into the actual, tangible features that change your daily digital life. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering how that software in your pocket really works under the hood, well, you're in the exact right place. Let's kick things off with a foundational question. How exactly did this fragmented, open-source mobile experiment manage to overcome its early hurdles to define the modern smartphone experience for literally billions of people? I mean, it certainly wasn't an overnight success. And let me tell you, those growing pains, they were incredibly real. Just looking at these classic three-dimensional app icons brings on a massive wave of nostalgia, doesn't it? It's such a stark reminder of where this whole wild software journey actually began. Back in those early days, the user experience was, well, incredibly basic, and hardware fragmentation, that made it a bit of a wild west for developers and users alike. So, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The early Android eras. 2. The material U-shift. 3 and 4, we'll unpack the UX and security of Android 14. And finally, 5, the road to Android 16. All right, Section 1, the early Android eras. You know, it is almost unbelievable how fast we sprinted forward. We started out with just basic widgets and the Android market way back in 2008. Then, boom, by 2014, Lollipop completely overhauled the visuals with material design. And fast forward to 2019, Android then brought us those refined, unified designs that we just totally take for granted today. Things like system-wide dark mode, foldable support, and seamless gesture navigation. When you contrast the super cluttered, kind of inconsistent interfaces of those early years with the sleek, developer-friendly frameworks we have today, you can literally see an operating system growing up right before your eyes. It evolved from this disjointed collection of neat little features into a deeply integrated, incredibly smooth ecosystem. Moving on to Section 2, the material U-shift. Now, this right here was a massive shift in philosophy. Android 12 and 13 basically changed the entire paradigm with Material U. This is that feature that dynamically adapts your app colors, widgets, and menus to perfectly match the exact color palette of your wallpaper. It was a total game changer because it made the interface feel genuinely personal and uniquely yours rather than just purely utilitarian. Which brings us to Section 3, Android 14 User Experience. Let's dive into a seriously fascinating update, the Grammatical Inflection API. Did you know that over 3 billion people speak gendered languages? That's a huge number. So instead of awkwardly defaulting to masculine terms, this API prevents that negative experience of being incorrectly addressed by your own phone. It ensures the interface actually speaks to you respectfully and naturally by dynamically shifting nouns, verbs, and adjectives to match your grammatical gender. And the best part? Developers don't even have to completely rewrite their apps to do it. It's these precise quality-of-life updates that really make a massive daily difference. For instance, nonlinear font scaling. This means you can enlarge your text without completely breaking the layout on your screen. The smaller text grows, sure, but those already large headings, they stay put. Or consider regional preferences. Your weather widget will always use Celsius if that's what you want, even if you travel to the US. And privacy? App screen sharing ensures your private notifications stay completely hidden when you're casting to a monitor in a meeting. Such a lifesaver. The overall user experience is just further polished by things like cross-task predictive back gestures. This is awesome because it literally shows you a fluid preview of exactly where you're swiping before you actually commit to the action. So yeah, you never accidentally close an app again. Plus, if you're on a device like the Pixel 8 Pro, you get these high-quality, on-device AI text replies right in Gboard, which are powered seamlessly in the background by large language models. Okay, Section 4, Android 14, Security and Media. So security got a massive upgrade with the new Credential Manager, and honestly, it brings such a relief to daily use. It entirely removes that awful friction of having to remember complex passwords. Instead, it pulls all your federated sign-ins and passkeys into one highly secure, biometric-protected vault. You can just sign into your favorite apps using your fingerprint or your face. And because it's built on industry standards, it works seamlessly across entirely different operating systems. Now, over on the media side, Android 14 fundamentally elevates your photos. It natively captures images in Ultra HDR, pulling this stunning contrast and these vibrant colors directly from the camera sensor itself. But here's what's absolutely brilliant. It smartly falls back to standard JPEGs when you share that image to an older device that doesn't actually support HDR. It completely solves that annoying frustration of sharing an amazing photo only to have it look terrible and washed out on your friend's older phone. And speaking of cameras, have you ever taken a night mode photo and had your phone just completely freeze up while it processes? Well, to handle those compute-heavy tasks without locking up your device, the upgraded Camera Extensions API instantly provides a low-resolution post-view placeholder image on your screen. Meanwhile, all that heavy algorithmic processing finishes invisibly in the background. It basically keeps the phone feeling blazing fast no matter what kind of crazy shot you're taking. Finally, Section 5, the road to Android 16. The physical hardware landscape we live in is changing so rapidly right now. Android 15 and 16 are doubling down heavily on modern developer frameworks. They're doing this to ensure apps can seamlessly scale, resize, and multitask across this exploding market of foldables and large-screen tablets. The operating system now enforces adaptive user interfaces, so rather than your apps just stretching out super awkwardly, they actually utilize all that extra real estate in a smart, intuitive way. When you look at the hard data of the software lifecycle, it tells a pretty stark story. Everything up to version 10, completely end of life, and even Android 13 is sunsetting soon. So making the jump to modern, supported architectures like 14, 15, and eventually 16 is absolutely critical. It isn't just about getting those flashy new UI features, it's strictly necessary for maintaining your device's security and ensuring your apps continue to actually work. So we'll leave you with this final thought. While these massive software leaps offer some truly incredible tools, from on-device AI to desktop-level multitasking on foldables, how will the ecosystem balance these demanding new features against the actual cost of the hardware required to run them? Will this pursuit of ultimate capability end up leaving the average budget smartphone user totally behind? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.